Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to try and achieve a few things. One of them being, I want to try and paint the fence and I want to do a bit of rendering. So I want to render the letterbox and the top of the capping there that I've beaded out. So we'll see how we go. So first up, I'm going to get stuck in and do some undercoating of the fence. I'll just try and give you a close up and so you can see the texture on it. So we've got this really nice texture that looks like it's been painted over the years by different people and it's got different finishes, and that's the look I'm going for. So all in here is all I've left a bit rough. So it looks like it's been repaired and that. So I think it's going to look quite good and quite authentic as being an old fence that's just been repainted over the years. So I'll get my undercoat out. I've got to do the other side of the fence. I did this one last night. So I'll just go around and check that we don't need to do any touch-ups there, and I'll undercoat that, and then I can do some rendering and then come back when that's dry and paint the hog bristle on. So we'll see how we go. Well, I don't know if this painting idea is a good idea. I think it might end up raining and ruining the paint, so I've undercoated it. I'll leave it at that for today. And I thought I might make up the other I've got two more cappings for the piers. So I'll show you how I do that. Just got to cut up some blue board, glue that together, and then make up the bases. And I've also got the little what do you call them, the little chamfer pieces to put in. Like down here, this bit and this bit, they've got to go around the panels on both sides, so that's another job I can do. So I'll just start making these pier cappings up, see how far we get. So I got this pattern which I worked out for the first capping, and I've just got to trace that out, and then I know that they're going to, well, if I can cut it accurately, which I can, I know that they're going to fit perfectly and make the perfect angle that I want. So yeah, I'll just trace this on and we'll start cutting them out. Okay, so we're going good. I got enough here for 3 cappings, so I got 12 pieces. So just going to go around the backs now. When you cut it with a diamond tip blade, you get this burr. So I just rub the screwdriver down there and that gets rid of the burr. So we'll quickly do that. The sun's coming out. Might be able to get onto the painting after all. We'll see how that goes though, but I'd say we'll probably end up. All right guys, now that I've cleaned these pieces up on the backs, I can start assembling them. So I'll give you a hot tip that I figured out. I'm putting tape on the back of these to hold it all together until I can get some liquid nails on there. So that tape doesn't like to stick, especially when you go moving it around. So I've got just your basic Sally's quick grip contact glue. Spray that down the edge and it won't come off, and you can move it around and it won't all fall apart. So yeah, that's a good tip that I come across in doing this and having a few failures. So we'll lay these out. Dead simple to do. So spray these edges. Now that almost dries instantly. Get our tape. Stick that on. Come here. Give it a really good push down and that won't go anywhere. Put that on that side, fold it all up. Now I can flip that over without that tape coming off and put glue in the gaps. Dead simple. Still got to add the bottom pieces onto this, but once you got this, then it needs some beading down here so you can get some depth in the render. So I just use this and I cut off the side bits and just leave that little piece in the middle, and then I'll contact glue that on there. And that seemed to work beautifully on the first one, so I'll keep going with it. So that's how you get a good amount of render on. Corner comes to a nice peak there. You do use a bit of liquid nails, but that's cheap. Sunshine. So as soon as it's fined up, I'm going to put the hog bristle on the front fence. So I'll go and get the paint ready and we'll start putting it on. Don't think we'll have any problems with rain. Barely a cloud in the sky. So yeah, it turned out all right. So seeing as we've got a nice sunny day, I'm going to be doing my bit of rendering that I wanted to do. So this is what I'm using. If I can find the front. Acrylic render. It's for blue board. So if you're doing it over blue board, you got to use the special cement over the joints first. Then you go over it with this. So I haven't got any joints because I've got my bead where I need it. So I'll just go for a coat of this render straight onto the blue board. So I'll put some water in here. It's always best to have the water first and then add the render. And then I'm going to mix it with this paint stirrer. So throw this in. See how we go. Alright, this stuff is quite thin, but it's easy to apply, thin, but you do slop it a bit, so you got to be a little bit careful and try and catch your slop. But that's the thickness I want, so I'll go and do the job. So I'm going to get in and sponge this now. You can use this, but I just find it really hard to get the water out of it and it ends up being smeary with water. So I kind of prefer to use this sponge and just be careful with it and don't dig the corners in. So pretty simple. I've wrung most of the water out. Just want to give it a rub. Really light touch. You can see now that is dead flat, almost too flat. But it means I can come back and I can, with the cornice adhesive that I brush on afterwards, that'll give it some bumpiness, which is the reason I do that. So it's easier to do that than to try and get it flat. So I'll show you in a minute the letterbox lid that I did to go in there. So I'll go around and I'll do the front now. Clean up the sponge. So it looks like we might be able to get in and sponge this capping now. Yep. Beautiful. That's all it needed. I might rub over with the sponge. So this is the letterbox lid. So it was just a galvanised lid. I etch primed it and painted it gold so it would match the antique one on the front. So this is just going to go in here, like this. And look like that, which will be, so I'll glue that in and that'll be our little letterbox flap. So that's going to look beautiful. I might even just sit it in just that little bit, just to give it a little bit of a lip, or I might leave it out. I'll see what looks best. I can't do too much because this is still quite soft, but yeah, I think that's going to look quite nice. And it's a good height, it's a nice like waist height. Don't have to bend down or reach up high. So yeah, there you go, loving it. Okay, so that was a really successful afternoon. Luckily the weather fined up not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, nice cool breeze. Love this sort of weather. So I got an extra job done with the making up of the pier cappings, and I've done my rendering, done my painting. Yeah, got everything done. So yeah, all in all, it was worthwhile getting home a little bit early to do these jobs. So I do have to let that render go off for a little while and start to stiffen, so I can come back and sponge it nice and smooth. So I'll leave that. It's the sun is actually drying it out quite quick, and I mixed it up a little bit stiff, so it's actually was starting to go off a bit as I was applying it. So it does need to be quite thin when you apply it. So I'll give you a look at the painted fence. So how cool is that? That's in the hog bristle. So yeah, loving that. Show you around the front. So yeah, once you get some brass fittings on for the light there, the coach light we're going to put on, it'll look good. I've got another capping obviously to put over there, but that's going to look really nice. And then we're going to have a nice garden in front. So the green and the flowers and that against the hog bristle, that's going to look beautiful. So I've got a little bit of rendering here that I did. So it's a little bit wet still, so we'll leave that a little while longer. And same with these other bits. Now, I'm really happy with how this render's gone on. I'm getting better as I go along. This one here, as you can see on this side, it's not perfectly flat. I mean, I don't want it perfectly flat, but I do want it a bit better than that. So I will end up going over that and putting a bit of a skim coat over it to flatten it a bit more. But if you have a look at sort of the rest of it, it's a bit lumpy and bumpy, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. So looks like the real deal, I think. And yeah, we will have to turn this around. We will have to see how that weathers. So if I notice any cracking or anything, there's no cracking, there's been no movement, it's been there for a few weeks. So I don't expect to see any cracking. I've used lots of liquid nails. I've put fiberglass tape on all the joints, so that will help hold the render in place and hopefully not crack. So we'll see how it goes. But the worst case, if it does crack, I'll smear some no more gaps in there or something and repaint it. And I might need to repaint it every now and then, but I really think, I may be hopeful, but I really think that that's not going to crack and it's going to look good. So that's about it for the video for today. Oh, one more thing I'll show you. We planted our little crabapple tree. So hopefully that'll get established fairly quickly and we'll see some growth. We've got our other trees that we planted. That's a Manchurian pear, and that looks beautiful. It's getting some nice growth. We've got a golden elm tree here, which is just opening up its leaves now, but what a beautiful colour those leaves are. Have a look at them. And when that gets big and it shades this whole area, the idea is with this tree that it's going to shade this whole area. It's going to be, they grow to about 8 metres in width. So it's going to grow, and I'll have to prune it every now and then. It's going to come up over the roof a bit, but I'll prune the branches away, and yeah, we'll be left with a nice area under here. In summer here in Australia, it just gets hot and you don't want to be out in the sun. It zaps your energy and you do nothing. So I need the shade here. And then we've got this other tree. This is the Chinese pistachio. So that goes bright red in spring. So that is going to look beautiful. So we got trees there that go orange. This one here goes bright yellow. That goes red. It's going to get lots of colour. It's going to look awesome. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have a go at doing these vlogs showing the work I get done each day. So I'll be uploading hopefully every day or every other day, and then I'll put out a big video as I normally do once a week or once a fortnight to show you all of the work that's been done in that time. So if you like that, please let me know in the comments, and Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because like I said, there's going to be something to look at each day. Make sure you turn that notification bell on and select all. That way you're not going to miss anything. And yeah, we'll see how we go with getting these videos out to you, these shorter videos. And like I said, please let me know if you like them or if it's too much. So we'll see if we can get that algorithm working in my favour for a change, instead of just once every 6 months. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I love all the support and the comments that you give me. And I'll see you on the next video, which will hopefully be tomorrow. So till then, see you later. Cheers.